All right, welcome to Startup TNT Pitch Night. It's a special edition. It's Alumni Night. We've got our 5 finalists from our very first Startup T Investment Summit joining us here tonight. They're here to give us a little update, have some fun, join us on Discord afterwards. Our next investment summit is next week, where we've got a crop of 10 companies joining us, pitching to nearly 60 investors next week. We'll be investing in at least 2 of them, hopefully more. We got 3 companies here that raised money the last time, so we'll see what happens next week. But tonight, we're here to celebrate our alumni. Our philosophy at Startup TNT, have fun, make friends, build companies. We have fun every single Thursday night, and we try to support great companies through our investment summits and help them build the companies together with entrepreneurs and investors. So our very first speaker tonight is Mr. Keith Riley from Renovation Fund. Keith, welcome. Let us know what's going on.
Thanks for having me, Zach, and thanks for the drinks.
That's right. I gave personal beer deliveries to our alumni earlier today. I couldn't make it to one of them because he's in Korea.
We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, Keith, tell us what's going on. We got 6 minutes on the clock. What's happening?
Okay. I will do a quick screen share with you and kind of show you what's been going on since we pitched at the event. So we were in the middle of a capital raise. We didn't end up finishing the capital raise. We were actually, I was in Vancouver 2 days before, meeting with some VCs and some angel investors. And we came home 2 days later, they shut down the country. We were January and February of this year, we had 25% growth over last year. And then we were on track to do about 150,000 in sales in March. And all of a sudden COVID hit. And that was $90,000 hit to us in March. So like a lot of people, we didn't really know what we were going to do. We had to kind of regroup and see what we were going to do with all the shutdowns, play it by ear. We came out in April. We had to change a little bit of our strategy. And then we brought it back up to 94,000 in April. So, you know, it was a big hit. We ended up having about a 3% decrease in Q1 this year over last year when we were on trend to do about 25% in growth. Q2, we kind of regrouped. We didn't let go of any of our employees, so we were able to keep everybody fully hired. And then in Q2, we had 8% growth over 2019. And then in Q3, we actually did 38% growth over 2019 in Q3. So we've been doing pretty good with what's been going on considering. But our website traffic has exploded. So as soon as COVID hit, and I think everybody kind of realized this, that everybody was doing home improvements. So naturally, you would think that we would be selling a lot because everybody was using our platform. So our platform was exploding. Right now, we're about double the traffic we were pre-COVID. So the adoption, it's kind of really accelerated the adoption rates of people using technology to hire home improvement companies. So that's been a positive, but still we're trying to take marketing dollars from companies, home improvement contractors. So usually in a downturn, people tend to cut marketing and advertising. So it's been, you know, a struggle, but we've been able to really persevere in these times. So it's been good. And we put the capital raise on hold, and now we're actually getting back into the raise. So we're going to be finishing off our raise. And we're actually going live on Front Funder on not this coming Thursday, but the 19th. We've done all the due diligence and everything's ready. So we're actually going to do a crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding platform. And we're going to try that out and see how that goes. And yeah, so we're ready to grow again. We kind of cleaned up during COVID. And recently, and we're really proud that we've actually hired 3 new salespeople. So during this time, and now that we're trying to grow, we've actually been able to, you know, one of the few companies that we've been able to hire during these times. We've actually hired a few people that were laid off because of COVID that worked in other industries. So we're pretty happy to be contributing to giving people jobs right now. So
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. It's great to hear you bouncing back after COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Keith, how many cities are you in now? I know you've started here in Edmonton. Where have you expanded to so far?
So we're actually all across Canada. So we have people using our platform all across Canada. We've pre-vetted. The cities that we're monetizing in are Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. And recently we've had a lot of people using our platform out in Ontario, in Ottawa, and Toronto. So we've sold our first 5 companies out in Ontario in the last month. So yeah, it's been going good.
That is really cool. And so you're raising money now through a crowdfunding platform, which I'm actually really excited to learn more about how that goes. What will that money be used for?
Yeah, really, we've been setting it up for our Series A. So our goal in last year at this time was to close out the round, really grow our company. We have a lot of interest in the venture side for a Series A round. And we haven't been spending any money on growth because of COVID. So really it's just finishing off the round and really focusing on growing the company this year so that we can do a Series A at the end of 2021.
Now, are you expecting, as part of your crowdfunding equity raise, are you expecting a lot of your existing customers will be some of the investors?
Yeah, so we've actually had a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot. We've had a few of our companies invest. We've had some interest from a lot of our homeowners. So our database right now, across Western Canada, is over 170,000 homeowners, right? And a lot of the contractors and traveling around meeting angel investors, I've met a lot of people that wish they could have invested. Our minimum at the time was 25,000. We had a lot of interest of people that were interested in the $5,000, $10,000 mark. And this allows us to actually give back to the homeowners and the contractors that have been growing with our platform over the last 6 years to be a part of our growth. So we just thought it was kind of a nice strategy to really give back to them if they want to be part of our growth strategy.
Well, Keith, I'm very curious to see how your experience goes with Front Funder, and I'm sure other entrepreneurs are as well, because our philosophy at Startup TNT is really to introduce people to angel investing at a relatively low dollar amount. But I mean, we also have to limit it to accredited investors based on the rules that are out there.
Yeah.
But I know that from informal conversations, there's a lot of people that would love to get in on supporting local entrepreneurs through some sort of crowdfunding mechanism. So really curious to see how that goes on the Front Funder campaign.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you updated, and we're very excited to get this going.
Okay, very cool. Oh, we're over time. I'm sorry. I'm being a bad timekeeper here, as usual. So, Keith, awesome update. Really great to see that kind of progress. And next we have Anthea Sargeaunt, 2S Water. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for having us back. It's great to be talking in front of the TNT audience again, and we've missed you guys. It's not quite the same without the in-person meetings.
Not the same without the in-person. There's only so much we can do.
Well, you're doing a great job of what you're doing, so we appreciate it. So, as you know, we were funded at the last Startup TNT Summit. We were very excited about that. Things are going great. We had everything set to close on March 15th. So obviously, COVID hit just as we were wrapping up the raise with Startup TNT. So we did close 75,000. Our plan was to take that 75,000. Yes, very big thumbs up. Our plan was to take that 75,000 and use it to push some of the other investors who were sitting on the edge over and into the fund. And we thought our chances of doing that were pretty good, or at least we did on February 28th. None of those other investors were willing to move. Everybody who was in the TNT Summit pulled back. I cannot express how pivotal the TNT money was to 2S Water's survival. We buckled down, we stopped looking for investment, and we determined that we were going to push our product to the next major milestone. It was the only way we saw that we could viably survive through COVID and come out the other side viable. And all we could do is hope that by the time we had built our product and got it into the field, that the investment landscape would have changed. We put our unit in the field September 15th. We deployed it into Sargeaunt County Thank you, thank you. We're detecting 5 different contaminants every 1 minute. Super excited to be there. Sturgeon County have just been fantastic, wonderful partners for us. Nevertheless, we faced a lot of difficulty with COVID. We figure it's probably put us back 3 to 6 months off where we expected to be. We made a lot of great connections because people were accessible, but we never managed to get past stage 1 all summer. You know, we were talking to Suncor, to Imperial. They couldn't even send guys onto the floor to get samples. Sherrod said, you know, if it wasn't COVID, we would be asking you to drive down here right now and launch it on our first meeting. It has taken them until last week to tell me that we could actually pilot with them now. So we are rolling out units. We are meeting with clients. We'll have our first industrial unit, or our first commercially viable, minimum viable product in January. We are hoping that by April, we will be fully market ready. And we managed to make a great partnership with the Canadian Excellence in Mining Institute. Running through my letters in my head. They've been great partners for us so far. They put us in front of a lot of huge mining companies. We are presenting to Vale later this week or this month. We've connected to Rio Tinto. There's just been some really great progress. We've really validated the high customer demand, the intensity of the pain point in the mining industry. So we're headed in the right direction. Things are going great. We've also been accepted into the CTA Clean Tech cohort. So we are moving across the states, pitching to the large VCs companies. We are at the stage where we need to raise now. We're very hopeful that things have changed out there, that people seem to be back and forth on whether or not that's the case. But we are certainly going to the angel groups in Canada. We are going to the seed stage VCs in the United States, especially the ones focused on water. So, you know, any of those TNT investors who are feeling like you want a bit more, you can always throw more into the holding company. We're happy to have you along. It's really a great moment because if we go with the US VC, we're going to close this round and open it at a different valuation. So good, exciting times for 2S Water, and so glad I have the opportunity to come and express how pivotal Startup TNT was to our continued survival. We cannot thank you enough.
Well, thank you for joining us, Anthea. And I just want to put some context in there. You're currently launching one pilot in practice right now, one pilot's in place, and you've got some others on the go that you're preparing for. Back when we invested, we got a tour of your facility, which was your R&D partnership with the University of Alberta. So our tour of your product was still very much like a laboratory prototype. So yeah, really awesome to be able to
come a long ways from there, and we're going to come even farther before the end of the year. It's going to be really exciting to have like an actual commercial unit in hand. So
no, anyways, I think it's awesome. As I like to remind people, I have a PhD in chemical engineering. I have a soft spot for all of you out there that are commercializing technologies at a universities or in partnership with universities. So really awesome to see that happen, Anthea. It's not easy. So how are things going with the pilot with Sturgeon County?
They're going really well. Yeah, they've been an excellent partner, really supportive of us. My main issue with the pilot is reminding the guys that this is an MVP and they don't have to have all the features built out for it, because every time I turn my back, they're building out a new feature, which is what I want them doing. I think they've really, the amount of progress we've made on our unit since the day we rolled it out has just been phenomenal. It's amazing what that field data can do. It really just changes things from that laboratory. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I'll also comment that your relationship with the Canadian Excellence in Mining Institute, that sounds top notch. So it's pretty awesome to have that kind of partnership, you know, making introductions for you. So congratulations, Anthea.
Thank you.
Okay, why don't we move on to the next presenter, who, according to my list, which is very detailed, now don't know where I put it, is Nanolog Audio, calling in from Korea. Adam Brown, the guy that rocked the house on stage, recently won a Canadian version of the Grammys. What's it called?
The Junos?
Junos! He recently won the Juno Award for his band. Adam, tell us what's going on. You're in Korea right now. What is happening?
Well, you can see I cut all my hair. That's one thing.
As one person said, you have a Korean-style haircut.
Yeah. So yeah, we were top 60 applicant out of 2,700 companies to this program called K Startup Challenge. And how we actually got connected to it is really through Startup TNT. There's a guy, Kurt Koo. He was starting a VC fund here in Edmonton. Anyway, he's connected to this program. Long story. I'm in Korea now. And this program runs August 15th to around December 1st. And the purpose of the program is really to bring, exciting technology from around the world to Korea for the Korean market. And so there's companies from all over, like Brazil, Russia, Mexico, United States, Germany, Singapore, everywhere. And so we are actually, it looks like, it's pretty preliminary, so I'm probably going to say some things I shouldn't, but it's like, we're looking to open our Korean office. So we're going to open a Korean company, Nanolog Korea, and we have partners with one of the top kind of early stage deep tech investors here, the Big Bang Angels. We have a co-CEO outlined who's also going to invest in our company. So he's a Korean guy who's helped raise other semiconductors, startup companies, raise like Series A funding. So he's very well connected, not only in Korea, but Japan, China, Taiwan, and Singapore. So we kind of have like this partnership. So we have the beginning of our Korean office. The big thing we're missing is a Korean CTO. It's a very technical role we need to find. And what we've done is we've actually built some pretty exceptional networks in the short time we've been here. So Seoul National University is like the Stanford of Korea. It is the top research institute. So I've been in contact, I'm working with two spin-offs there. So they're like super advanced technology guys, professors at SNU, as well as like the top semiconductor guy there who's invited us to like their networking sessions. So we're doing pretty well, and we know we're getting mentoring from the former CEO of Intel Capital Korea. So like the caliber of networks we're getting here are pretty exceptional. Yeah, funding. The trick with funding is that there's a lot of funding opportunity in Korea. So that's what we're going after. But the problem is it's like Korean money for Korea. It doesn't leave the country. So no one really wants to invest in a Canadian corporation. So we still have some challenges back home, but it's like we're going to have this Korean entity with a Korean team. And then in Canada, at least the plan is going to be like a tech supplier to this guy who's doing like product development, application design with these kind of like pretty top-notch networks. And, in terms of business performance, we have an NDA and we've done tech transfer with one of the biggest OEMs here on the audio side. So we've given them our technology for evaluation. If it works out, be a joint venture. They're open to investment into Nanolog. So we've met with their top research team, their leading electronics engineers. And we've been talking to two of the biggest deep tech investors in early stage. That's really exciting. We also talked to like 8 different angels who invest in semiconductors, and that just doesn't exist in Edmonton, like it just does not at all. So it's a very different world here, different caliber of opportunity for our company. And I think in the bottom line is we're getting like support from really top-notch players in the industry, both on the investment side, the research side, the company side. And so we're really excited to be here. We're really focusing on product development, building our Korean company with our team, and securing investment. So that's my quick update. I hope I didn't give too much away, but that's kind of what's going on.
So, Adam, that was an awesome update. I had no idea that that's the kind of progress you're making. I just want to remind everyone that Adam was hanging out with us at TNT one night a few weeks back, and he was like, "Should I go to Korea? I don't know. I might not be covered for COVID. Let's figure it out." And gosh, it sounds like it was the absolutely right choice. This is really exciting, Adam.
Yeah, like it was stressful because when I came here, Korea, the COVID cases started spiking like so bad. Like it was so much better than Canada, and actually when I got here, it was just boom, 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 boom. And so the program we're in is a government program. It's like NIPA, it's the Korean government bringing these companies. So it's all very bureaucratic. And they really don't want us going out partying. Like, there's lots of fears. They make us sign all these waivers. So there's been like, I'm not saying it was a frictionless time here. A lot of stress. And it's kind of different because like if you get COVID in Korea, like you pretty much get fired. Like you get like, if I get COVID, I'll probably be fined around $20,000. American right now. So it's insane. Like in Canada, you know, if you get sick, you get sick. But here it's like no one really has COVID, but if you get it, it's not a good thing. So it's a really different kind of culture. So it's been really stressful. You know, it's like you can't get sick. You know, it's just like don't get sick or you're screwed.
Adam, like listening to you talk about this accelerator, I think I didn't appreciate when you went there just how tailored it really was and good fit it was for like what you're doing. Like it sounds like they're offering you the types of partnerships and resources that are hard to find somewhere else. So is that true? Like is this like sort of
so mostly, yeah. Like so I've really my accelerator, I've had like 2 really strong intros from them. Two exceptional intros. And then everything else I actually got through cold calling. So I got an intern here, part of the program, you know, a Korean English speaking guy. He's been amazing, Insan. He's like my best friend too. But like, I don't know, maybe they don't do it much here, but I was like, yeah, you're going to find all these organizations, just give them a call. Hey, you got this crazy deep tech from Canada. But that's actually how we got connected to Seoul National University. It's how we got connected to the director of nanoscience and semiconductor at the National Foundation of Korea, like all these really big titles from cold calling. So it's like my intern, I don't know, I need to buy him something nice before I leave.
All right, that is awesome, Adam. I think we're now over time, so I'm gonna have to call it here, but I'm looking forward to learning more about your experience during the happy hour. Hope you can stick around with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Up next, Future Fields. Matt, the founder of Future Fields, is here to tell us what's going on. I know you got a lot of exciting updates too. Tell us.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind since the summit night. You know, on the theme of COVID, I think it's so interesting to see how all these companies are coping with it and adapting. That's awesome to see. You know, including startup TNT, who's moved to a digital platform and keeping that tradition going. It's awesome. And you know, we were certainly not immune to the COVID issues as well. Being a biotech company, we don't really have the luxury of working from home or working remotely. We need lab space. So when COVID hit, I panicked. I scrounged up as much used lab equipment as I could find, called in some favors, built a small functioning lab in my basement, and was able to keep, you know, our R&D going for most of, the second half of March and most of April, a little bit of May as well. So about 7 or 8 weeks I was working in the basement. You know, if my wife wasn't a co-founder, I think she'd have a bigger problem with it. But occasionally she'd yell downstairs and ask what that smell was. But, you know, we survived. We're all living still. Yeah, so that we got through that. Actually was able to raise a little more money after that from some angels, local angels in Western Canada, kind of in around May. And then somehow in June, we got accepted into the Y Combinator accelerator, which was really big for us. So spent all of the summer in that program, which was pretty intense, kind of ramped up to their demo day at the end of August. Raised our seed round after that. Went really smooth. It was crazy though. Like we did 84 investor meetings in 14 days coming out of demo day. And it was just like nonstop. All Leggy and I did was do investor meetings, but it went really well. We were oversubscribed on our initial target after 7 days, ended up opening up a little more money at a higher cap. And then did the same thing, was oversubscribed again. So, you know, the fundraising process went really, really well for us coming out of YC. So then we kind of had a different problem where, you know, it's like, well, now we need to spend this money. Most of that went to our team. Our team has tripled in size since the summit, which, I mean, we added 6 full-time employees, but saying tripled in size sounds a lot more impressive. And it's been a really great team. I mean, we have, you know, such great scientists now. One of them actually came directly from Mike Houghton's lab, who, if you guys don't know, just won the Nobel Prize. So we poached one of his team. Yeah, and then the rest has kind of been funneled onto equipment. One of the things we're finding is lab equipment is very expensive. And on the customer side, we've got some good traction now. I think the night before the summit in February, we got our first LOI. So now we got up to seven signed LOIs. Ended up getting a little more aggressive with that. Got 4 contracts, so it's a little bit more valuable than an LOI. And then we got our first PO as well in September, which was really nice from a pretty big company in the industry too. Filed our core IP recently. Started working with a new patent group, and actually they helped us come up with some new IP specifically around some of our scaling strategies. So I've been having a lot of fun lately, kind of putting my engineering hat on, looking at some of the scaling that we need to address, actually needing to address a lot sooner than we initially thought. But that's been really fun. Other than that, just really have our heads down, focused on product. We're now officially testing some of our products that we have developed, hoping to ship those out to our first customers, ideally before the end of the calendar year, but we'll see. But other than that, just really focused on product.
Matt, that's an amazing update. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I used to tell all the other investors before they invest in your company that they need to look at this as a second-year PhD project. Like, that's the risk associated with your company. And I feel like you are proving just how wrong I was. Like, you're way more sophisticated than a second-year PhD project. Awesome job, Matt.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm really curious to hear about the experience at Y Combinator and the fact that you were able to land all those investors. How much of that is the exposure, and how much of that is the added advice and mentorship and support that they give you through the program?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of both. Having the YC brand attached to a company really helps. Obviously, you kind of have this, you've been vetted essentially by their team, which I think investors kind of look at really favorably. But a lot of the program is heavily geared towards fundraising, prepping you for that, and kind of getting, learning how to deal with investors, and I guess more specifically Silicon Valley investors, which are quite a bit different. They're kind of a unique breed. But yeah, I'd say is kind of a mix of both for sure.
Okay, well, that's very cool. I'd also like to mention to the group that one of your earliest employees was Chris Federley, who was helping us organize Startup TNT. How's it going working with him?
Oh, Chris has been amazing. Yeah, I always say, it felt like we won the lottery with Chris, because he approached us. We didn't have a job posting up. We weren't looking for employees, and he came up to Leggy at a TNT event back when these were in person, and he said, I want to work for your company. And we said, are you sure? And 8 months later, here we are. And yeah, Chris has been, a really integral part of our team.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I'm really impressed with you're raising money. You got LOIs, you got customer contracts, you got POs, you're poaching awesome scientists to join us here at Edmonton.
Yeah.
And Matt, you just introduced me to someone from New Harvest.
Yeah.
Who provides very early stage research grants to companies in your space. And that is really cool. She's originally from Edmonton, just moved back here. She's actually going to join us to give a little update on what she does at the Investment Summit. So thanks for that introduction, Matt. And just to let everyone know, there's different ways to support different industries, and investing in companies is one of them. Providing early stage research grants is another. So very cool. Awesome. All right, Matt, I hope you can stick around for the happy hour, because I want to learn more about where things are at. And we're coming up on 6:30, almost over time now. So last but certainly not least, we have Mike from DrugBank, the guy that raised $125,000 from Startup TNT. And just going like gangbusters, Mike, right? That's what I hear.
Yes, we are. And I do have some slides. It's great to be here. It's awesome. I'll talk a bit about COVID and stuff as well, but it's been awesome to kind of hear from everyone today and kind of connect back. So TNT was an amazing experience for us. And I just wanted to give a quick reminder into what we do. So our purpose really at DrugBank is augmenting human intelligence to improve the world's health. The thing that we really are trying to solve here is that even though we have more data about our health than ever before, we're not getting as much value as we really could from that. There's a lot more that we can do with it. And so we really build tools to to help enable that. The key thing that we do is we structure and connect all of our knowledge about drugs and how they work. And so we have a big, huge database where we put all that together. We have a number of different solutions that we build on top of that knowledge base and different technologies in there. So our kind of key customers are the pharmaceutical industry, the medical software industry. And we have customers in over 20 countries around the world. And so some quick updates over the last few months. It's obviously been a crazy year for everybody. And for me personally, it was a very crazy year because I also had my first son was born right before we did the TNT Summit, I think, if I have the timing correct. So this year's been a real blur for me, obviously, with COVID and raising funding and things. So right now at the company, we've been really focusing on increasing our growth rate, increasing momentum. We raised funding from CDL. We raised funding, a funding round. We were in CDL while we were in TNT. We graduated from CDL in, I think it was June. I forget the exact month now. We oversubscribed our funding round by 20%. So TNT was part of that. We got also some funders from CDL. So of course, COVID hit in the middle. So that was a stressful time, but luckily, yeah, I guess to be honest, we're lucky in the industry we're in because we had certain positive impacts. We had a lot of positive attention, and I also proud to say we had a positive impact on COVID research as well. One of the exciting things we did was we launched DrugBank.com. So we had DrugBank.ca, we had some different domains, but we kind of merged everything together onto DrugBank.com. Doesn't seem that exciting, but it is exciting for us because there was a squatter on that domain before. So we're very glad that they're no longer squatting on it. We developed a number of new advanced natural language processing and natural language understanding tools that bulk up our internal processes and make them more advanced, but also are going to be coming into some of our new products. We launched we incorporated 8 new countries, so drug products from 8 new countries, which is really exciting. There's more to come from that. I mentioned we contributed to COVID research. So we developed a COVID-19 dashboard that summarizes a whole bunch of COVID-19 research around the world and brings together clinical trials and a whole bunch of things together into one place where people can find that. It was accessed by a lot of people around the world. And as a result, there's been more than 700 citations in COVID-19 related research citing DrugBank, including a number of potential drug treatments around the world. So this is all kind of academic research and contributions there, but it's really exciting that we were able to have that kind of impact as we're still a relatively small team. We've been growing like crazy after raising funding. So we've hired 21 new employees, 39 total. There's 14 new titles, and a really exciting thing is that we've maintained gender parity throughout hiring. And another really exciting thing is just we went fully remote. So we're a software company, so we had that luxury of going remote. So now most of our company has never been to our office. And a very big fear was kind of how can we maintain that culture? How can we build a team and a cohesive team when that's happening? But I'm really proud of the team and how everyone has kind of welcomed new team members and worked together to kind of keep that culture going and even strengthen it. I think we've learned a lot of good positive lessons from going fully remote as well. We've hired across the company, but some of the key positions, including internal promotions, are product manager, sales manager, head of product, sales operations manager, and manager of people and culture to really focus on building up and maintaining that culture. And also a fractional CFO who we did get connected to through startup TNT. And while it's Endeavor Advisory, so they're I think a sponsor of Startup TNT as well, and everyone in the groups is quite involved in TNT. So that's a really cool little tie into TNT as well. This is what our org chart looks like now, kind of boring diagram. This year we've been growing every quarter, so we've grown 40%. Or the amount of new sales we have per quarter has grown by 40% quarter over quarter. Every quarter this year, we have 2 major partnerships. And I can't say what they are, unfortunately, but they're really exciting. And we have also, and then what's next for us? So we're launching more NLP and natural language understanding powered products. We're building our enterprise solutions team, more global expansion with our drug product regions. We're bringing more AI powered features into our clinical API, and just continue to push forward and grow. And we really focus on trying to keep building our momentum as we go forward here. So it's been quite an exciting year, and certainly the craziest year of my life with everything that's going on in the world. And that's my quick little slide deck.
Mike, I think there's only one response to that, and that is holy shit. That is an awesome update. That is really impressive, Mike. Also, for all the viewers at home, note that Mike is calling in from like a small loft at a cabin in the mountains. That's the kind of dedication we have here at Startup TNT. Awesome to have you on here, Mike. Listen, I'm hearing a bit of a theme here, which is a lot of you are not just trying to raise money from local investors. You're going after targeted investors from different jurisdictions around the world. Mike, you just raised a bunch of money. Tell us about that, like targeting specific investors that understand your space and the value of that versus raising money from local angel investors like us yahoos.
I'd say we had a good healthy mix of local investors as well as targeted investors. So we had a number of obviously local investors with Startup TNT. Then we had some other local angel investors. So we got connected through both through Startup TNT and through CDL to different angel investors. And then we had the Accelerate Fund also as an investor. So they match angel investor funding. So that was another great thing. And then one of the really neat things with Accelerate Fund, so one of the things with smaller angel investors is that they don't always have that ability to do the detailed due diligence and develop that confidence in the investment. So I think that Startup TNT, that's one of the great things that Startup TNT is doing, is helping to build that capability. And then Accelerate Fund also was helpful in that area with they were sharing some of their due diligence material with other investors. So that helped us to get some of those local investors. We also looked to bring on investors that are more specialized to our area. And so, we were successful. I think it's probably like, half and half. And one of the things we wanted to make sure of was bringing in that expertise and that knowledge to help us succeed, so that we have a really good group of people that we can phone and ask for advice, because they gave us money and they want to see that money turn into more money. So they're very willing to pick up the phone. So that's always nice. And it can be a really big help. And I think it sets us up well for the future where, when we want to raise further rounds of funding, it helps to have that network of people that are in that field. It helps to have people contributing to our success as well. So that's been a really important factor.
All right. We should move to Discord soon so everybody can talk to everybody and find out the details. But Mike, I just want to ask maybe 2 final questions. First one is, what is on the existing investors, are you thinking that they would be part of your next raise? And are you doing a next raise, or are you just doing this thing by revenue? What are the plans there?
Yeah, no, we'd like to do another raise. We expect that, a lot of the investors are interested in the next round, I believe. So I think that's going to be a really important part of it. And I think that will also help us to raise a larger amount of funding to have investors following on their initial investment. So that's really important.
Okay, great. Everybody likes to see that. Oh, all the investors want to put more money into this one. People love to see that.
Definitely
Okay.
helps.
Last, kind of a practical question. You mentioned the fractional CFO. I actually use the same fractional CFO for you for Startup TNT, although his main job is to see how much money we're spending on beer, and it's probably too much. But how is that working with like a 1 day a week CFO? I see this is kind of a common trend growing in the startup scene where people are like, hey, I'm a fractional CTO or I'm a fractional CFO. How is that experience as a founder with like a 1 day a week executive?
Well, I think it's a very nice step towards, I mean, one of the things that we've really tried to do this year after raising money is build better systems within the company to help us increase momentum. And so when it comes to finances, projections, budgets, I mean, I'll be honest, like when I built projections and budgets before having a fractional CFO, I didn't use all the terms right. I didn't use the right words for things. People invested, I'd have to explain sometimes like, oh, that's what this means. Like they invested, they didn't see the numbers in the right way that they expected to see them, but they still invested. But, having that CFO definitely helps to do everything the right way. Also helps to mitigate different types of risks around, complicated things like tax rules and all that. So that's another really important factor. And strengthening our projections. So as the company grows, momentum increases, we spend more money every month. That means every mistake is a bigger, more expensive mistake. The potential is bigger, but also the mistakes are more expensive. So it's really helpful to have that kind of knowledge and expertise. And I always like to not learn everything the hard way. I learn lots of things the hard way, but it's nice when you can learn things the easy way sometimes.
Mike, that's great advice to finish on. I think we've all learned too many things the hard way in the startup world. So it's not so bad to learn things the easy way sometimes. Listen, I'm going to give a quick wrap up. Let's see if I can do this for all of our entrepreneurs tonight, because I'm super impressed with everybody. Okay, Keith, start us off with, hey, COVID hit, revenue dropped $90,000. A few months later, he's growing year-over-year revenue growth on a monthly basis. He's launching his front funder campaign. He's trying out crowdfunding. Keith, awesome progress. Anthea went from prototype in the laboratory that looks like it's going to work to testing it out in the field with Sturgeon County and looking at investors from all around the world now. Matt, who am I skipping? Adam, calling in from Korea. He's visited the Korean border. He met his Korean connection at Startup TNT, and wow, the doors look like they're being opened. It seems like a match made in heaven. Next time we all have to learn Korea to speak to Adam. Matt Anderson Barron, who I should point out, I first heard about in an Edmonton Journal newspaper article where I said there's no way this guy's going to build this company here in Edmonton. And look what he's done. He graduated from Y Combinator. He's raising like a lot of money. He's tripled his team size. He's poaching scientists from Nobel Prize winning labs. Really awesome work, Matt Anderson Barron and the whole team at Future Fields. And then Michael Wilson, really awesome to see. Let's not forget, Michael, how old is your company? You were a founder 5 or 6 years ago. You had a completely different company. You pivoted massively, and now an overnight success 6 years in the making. That's what it takes.
Exactly.
Awesome to see all this, guys. So great to have you all here, and I look forward to seeing everybody on Discord.
Awesome.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, that was a lot of fun. That was probably my favorite pitch night ever. So